Hello, Johannes Keating here. Two things on my mind. The first is that I want to share that this article, here I'll show you the title. This article that I wrote together with Aspasia Karageorge from Australia, and the article is titled The Case of the Charmer, Shape-Shifting Seduction, Lethal Splitting, and a Salvage Treatment Using Conversational Intimacy. This was initially published in the Journal of Contemporary ISTDP, about maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. It's finally available through open access. So we poured our hearts and souls into this. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. So I will make the website URL available here in the description section of this video in case you're interested. So number one, I'm just excited about that. Feel free to check out this article that we wrote. The second thing is that this article segues into what I talked about in one of my more recent videos that I recently uploaded. And that's about how there is different ways to skin a cat, how we can work from the body up, in and through the mind, or from the mind down into the body. And I talked about the help-seeking person or the patient being like a string or a rope, and then there's this vine around the patient, and the therapeutic task is to mobilize the healthy part of the patient, the unconscious therapeutic alliance, sufficiently so that there can be a parsing of the patient and excessive anxiety and maladaptive defenses so that the patient can be free from excessive anxiety and defenses. And I talked about how traditional mobilization can be understood from the bottom up, from the body up through into the mind. And it's sort of like busting apart or parsing the patient and the resistance from the bottom down here. But I also talked about the importance of understanding with who and when to actually parse, to facilitate the parsing from up here, where we parse it starting with the mind. We start with a more cognitive approach instead of trying to bust it open from down here, which can blow a lot of people out of the waters. And it just won't work with people that are really identified with their defenses or people that have fragility. So then it's about up here, beginning to parse up here instead of down here. And so um, it's apropos the article because the article goes into a transcript with a patient where I had a misalliance on my hands because I was doing too much of trying to parse things from down here through traditional mobilization. And the treatment was salvaged through what me and Aspasia we refer to as conversational intimacy. And that is essentially starting from the mind and working down, separating from up here instead of down here. And so in layman's terms, there is a certain kind of patient that before they are in a position to really access their unconscious, they have to first be more connected with their conscious. They have to have an embodied experience of being in their own skin, an embodied experience of their first person perspective. And that has to do with the conscious mind. That has to do with what it just feels like to be in your own skin. Another way to put it is that someone has to first be connected with their basic visceral felt sense of existing, of being alive, before they can have a shot at looking underneath the hood to find out what's lurking in the unconscious. And so, yeah, so this is basically about pre-major mobilization. That phase of treatment is so essential for a whole lot of patients that are not ready for major mobilization. And it is a different animal. The article goes into it, but it is a different animal from just traditional graded ISTDP where you work towards a threshold and then you back off and then you go up again. It is a different animal. The bottom line is there are a lot of patients that before they can try to access their unconscious through major mobilization, they have to be more connected to their conscious minds, to an embodied first person perspective, first and foremost. So now that I have rattled that off, I thought I would just read just a few paragraphs from the article itself so that you can get a sense for it and you can see what you think. And so the case of the chart, just to give you a sense for the sheer magnitude of this, here's a table that we had fun making. But the sheer magnitude, I mean, we're looking at pages after pages of transcript and commentary all the way down. There's references. Um, yeah, there's the discussion section and all of that, but the transcript itself runs, it looks like it runs about 29 pages. So this is a bit of a beast, but it was also wonderful to write it with Aspasia Kara George. Down here at the bottom of the abstract. Although the treatment approach in this case shifted focus away from major mobilization of the unconscious, it appeared to build capacity and facilitate corrective emotional experiences nonetheless. We argue that this was achieved partly through emotional intimacy developed at the conversational level, which in turn led to the course correction of a previously derailing treatment process. And down here, according to Davidlew, I'm reading this part, when a patient demonstrates a mixture of both genuine communication and resistance, challenging the resistance should be given first priority. Page 16 of the Green Book, 2000. In contrast, conversational intimacy tolerates elements of resistance in favor of highlighting glimmers of patient authenticity and openness, i.e., genuine communications, to use Davidlew's nomenclature. In this way, it adopts a lower standard for what is considered progress or the patient successfully engaging in the therapeutic task. And then moving on here, though less intense than a proper unlocking of the unconscious, conversational intimacy is one form of taking down walls through authentic engagement. It embodies Greenson's notion that genuineness and realism are essential ingredients of the real relationship and parallels LeBeau's claim that the conscious therapeutic alliance requires the patient to experience that quote, the relationship with the therapist is genuine, that the therapist is interested in the patient, page 41. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll do it. But again, just to give you a sense for the magnitude of this paper, it is massive. Yeah, it is massive. And yep, we poured our hearts and souls into this. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into the writing here. So if you are interested, don't hesitate. Just click on the link at the bottom here in the description section. Okay, that's all for now. See you later. Bye-bye now.